we've got a heat pump to ensure that the battery is at optimal temperature at all times. We've got keyless entry, we've got parking sensors at the front and at the rear, 360 cameras all around the car, adaptive cruise control, all sorts of cross-traffic alerting systems, blind spot assistant, lane departure warning and prevention. We've got ISOFIX and iSize, we've got tyre pressure monitoring systems, we've got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, we've got high BYD voice activated assistant, USB ports Type C at the front and at the rear. We've got satellite navigation, we've got heated electronic seats, we've got split folding seats at the rear, automatic LED headlight, high beam assist, 12.8-inch rotating screen, folding mirrors, 17-inch alloys, and most importantly, we've got vehicle to load function, to name a few. Done. Here it is, the one that we've all been asking for, an affordable, compact, yet practical EV. The one which has the likes of the smart hashtag 1 and the Renault Megane E-Tech looking over its shoulders. So now that we've featured the aforementioned cars, let's see how the final piece of the trilogy that makes up the Ranger BYD fares. We're going to be discussing the equipment, the practicality, the tech, and an overall verdict on the Dolphin. Let's get into it. I've just worked out what the button on the bottom of that key does. When I had the Atto 3, I had a key card, and in this seal, I don't know if I noticed it or I couldn't work out what it did, but now I finally know. As long as you're within close proximity of the car, you just hold it down and it starts the engine. So if you need to make a hasty exit from wherever you might be, or preheat or pre-cool your car, you can do that by starting the car remotely. Now I know that's nothing new, but I can't recall another manufacturer that has that function on the actual key. So all you need to do is just get in, put it into drive, and away you go. Decent. The one that we're driving today is the design model, which is the range stopper in the UK, and prices start from just over £31,500. You could save yourself a handy £1,500 by going for the comfort model, and from what I could figure out, you only lose a handful of things, such as the panoramic glass sunroof, the wireless charge pad, and privacy glass for the windows at the rear. And even still, like we saw in the intro, if you go for the comfort model, you still get a bucket load of equipment. And, from what I can tell, something that only James Bond would carry is this. Now this handy device is to save you in an emergency. So, for example, if the Dolphin one day decides that he wants to return to the water and you're trapped in the car, seatbelts wedged, for example, then you've got a handy little blade tucked in just there, which you basically put on there and just pull through, and it cuts away the seatbelt. Now the other end of this contraption has what I believe a spring-loaded spike in there, so just push it on the glass and it's designed to smash the glass. How handy is that? That could well save a life. Other than those few options, that is where the differences end between the comfort and the design model. Both models come with a 60.4 kilowatt-hour battery and a claimed range of 347 miles in the city and a combined range of 265 miles. I currently have 93% worth of charge and it's telling me I can do 246 miles. So in that respect, that's pretty accurate. You're probably wondering how you can get so much range out of such a small battery. Well, the maths is really simple. Smaller battery in a smaller car equals less weight. Sprinkle a little bit of good aerodynamics and you have yourself a winning formula. They're available as a front wheel drive only and they can do 0 to 62 mile an hour in just 7 seconds thanks to a 204 brake horsepower motor. The Dolphin is able to accept 88 kilowatts of DC, which means that going from 30 to 80% charge comes up in just 29 minutes. Now give or take a few millimeters here and there. Quite literally, the smart hashtag 1 and the Renault Megane E-Tech and the BYD Dolphin are pretty much the same length, same width, and same height. Megane probably had the biggest boot, followed closely behind by the Dolphin and then the Smart, but to the naked eye at least, the rear bench in the Dolphin looks the most impressive. There's ample space back there for all the passengers, and thanks to the panoramic glass sunroof that this model has, it makes it feel very spacious and very airy. As for the cabin, it's a very nice place to be. It's very playful, and as we saw in the Atto 3 and the Seal, it's very well built. I know this isn't scientific, but nothing creaks. It's quiet too. At least up to about 40-50 miles an hour it is. I guess when you take into consideration the build quality along with the price point, the outcome of that is that it's probably a happy medium. There's lots of storage down here, one with the lid. There are a couple of USB Type-C slots along with a 12-volt Connect then and memory card reader, which I believe you can load media onto, so photos and films, and you can play them back here. You get a couple of cup holders and the wireless charge pad, and this handy little tray that you have under the touchscreen for your phone, keys, wallet, anything else that you might have on you. I like that. And just like we saw in the Atto 3 and the Seal, the 12.8-inch display is able to do its little party trick. And now we're doing 70 miles an hour. This is the noise in the cabin. And I guess the point being that it's a lot more grown up than what meets the eye. This Dolphin has been loaned to us by Stratstone BYD in Mayfair. They also have branches in Milton Keynes and in Birmingham. So if you'd like to find out a little bit more about the cars, arrange a test drive, or find out some of the offers that they've got running on this, the Seal and the Atto 3, I'll make sure I leave all their details in the description below. Thank you, Stratstone BYD. Unlike the Seal, the Dolphin doesn't get a frunk. But just like the Seal, just like the Atto 3, it comes jammed packed full of equipment, which makes it very good value for money. The driving dynamics are okay. For the purpose in which this car was intended, they're okay. However, it's comfortable. The seats are great, the ride is very supple, and it does very, very well at ironing out all the cracks, all the nasty potholes and the speed bumps that we have on our roads. It perhaps lacks that little bit of fun factor that I experienced in the Smart #1, but granted, that one was the range-topping Brabus model. This car is going to spend most of its time driving around built-up areas, city or town driving. Then I don't see the dynamic thing being too much of an issue. Most importantly, as long as it does the ironing of the cracks and the potholes on the road and managing speed bumps better, that's where its strength lies, which it does. Straight line performance, however, is very decent. It's only half a second slower than the Smart #1. It's only once you grab the Dolphin by the scruff of its neck and start showing it some corners and start throwing it around a little bit, that's when you start to experience a little bit more body roll and a bit more bounciness and wallowiness around those sharper bends. A couple of things that I really like with this car is, I know we've touched on it, but just how much equipment you get for that £31,500. It's hugely practical given the dimensions of the car and the market in which it operates. It's very comfortable and it's very well built. And some of the things that the Dolphin can do, it goes to show just how much thought has actually gone into building the Dolphin. All the BYDs for that matter. For example, although the headlights are automatic, you can take control of it and you can switch them off completely. Or you might switch them off completely by mistake. And even if you drive under a bridge or a tunnel, even for a few seconds, well, watch.
For your safety, please switch to low beam.
It's clever, isn't it? Or, for example, you stop at a set of traffic lights and you want to go right or left. The camera comes on the corresponding side to show you the wheel, to make sure you don't clip a curb or run over any small dogs. Handy. However, there are a few things that I would like to see some improvements being made. The infotainment system, for example, it can get a bit complicated. Now, the good thing is that once you set up everything just how you like, and there is a lot to customize, you can pretty much leave it alone. But there are a few small things that I think with a simple software update can be fixed. The safety systems will work, and you can probably hear it from time to time beeping away at me. For example, when I approach a roundabout, it thinks there's traffic coming from the right that I need to be mindful of? Well, I know that about a roundabout, I know cars are going to be coming from the right. I like to think that when you're approaching a roundabout, you know what to expect. So when it's constantly beeping at you, it can become all a bit too much. As I said, it's little things like that which I think with a simple software update, it can be improved. When you think about what the Dolphin is able to achieve in terms of range in the city, and you look at all the equipment that comes handy driving in and around built up areas, such as the cameras, the indicator feature we just saw, I get the impression when the designers had the plans for this car up on their flip chart that it wasn't about fun and dynamics and driving pleasure as such. It was more of a, let's create an urban cruiser. So in essence, it needs to be comfortable, it needs to be practical, it needs to be compact, and it needs to give you everything that you need to navigate in cities, in built up areas. And it does that just as you need it to. Visibility has been great too. You've got the 360 camera to show you all around the car when you're maneuvering. And if you don't want to rely solely on the camera, you've got these quarter windows here just on the A-pillar to help you maneuver and place the car exactly where you need to. I know I said the Dolphin isn't fun, but it does have an acceleration timer. Ready? What the hell? Seven seconds dead. That is hilarious. In terms of range, well, I've charged the Dolphin up twice now to about 95%, and both times it's given me a range of about 260, 265 miles, which is pretty much bang on the claimed figure. I've been paying about 59 pence per kilowatt hour in a public charge point that I have near my house. So that's cost me about 32, 33 pounds to fully charge. There are some other trim models that are available in other parts of the world, not yet in the UK. Whether we get them or not remains to be seen, called the Active and Boost, and they're pretty much, from what I could tell, are the entry levels to the entry level car. It looks like BYD might be keeping a couple of aces up their sleeve now that the Smart #1 is available for around £31,000 thanks to a smaller battery, and with the imminent arrival of the Renault 5, which is rumoured to cost around £25,000, the Active and the Boost might be models that BYD decide to deploy further down the road, giving us a pod of Dolphins to choose from. If you are in the market for this calibre of car, like the Megane E-Tech, like the Smart #1, like the BYD Dolphin, I would probably rank them in order of the smart car being the most fun to drive. In my opinion, the Megane looks the best, it's got the best styling, but when you take into consideration the price, the build quality, the equipment, the tech, the Dolphin just simply cannot be ignored. Living with the Dolphin for the past week has been very easy. I've done a few motorway trips in it, drove to Guildford and back, which is about 120 miles round trip, and it's been as comfortable as any other car. All the controls on the steering wheel are physical buttons, so I think we can all agree that that's something that we all want, enjoy and like. And the command center down here has got a lot of tactile buttons clearly labeled with what they do. For example, we've got our dial for the music, we've got the front windscreen heater system, we've got aircon on and off, and then we can switch it from auto or manual mode with a simple flick of a button. Hazard lights, recuperation, got your stability program, which you can switch it on and off. You've got your driving modes where you can flick from normal, eco and sport. Finally, you've got your gear lever clearly labeled with R&D and the little P button on the side for when you're done driving.
With any car video, wherever possible, I look for anything that I'd change, don't like, or would like to see an improvement on. For the Dolphin, it's the intrusive safety systems and the infotainment system. For most, it may feel like a computer screen than a slick menu system. But beyond that, I felt the need to nitpick, which I guess tells you everything you need to know. For someone looking for a car to do the job of getting them around the city in a comfortable and practical way, this is just as good as the next car. I don't think it's going to appeal to those, and including myself, who are car people, but if I take that hat off for a second and see the Dolphin for what it is, I really couldn't fault it. I enjoyed the fact that once you put it into sport mode, it stays in sport mode, even if you come back to it the next day. It has somewhere to anchor your bag so it doesn't roll around in the footwell. It has more boot under the boot, and the cameras that are always on hand to help you.
So there you have it, that's the BYD Dolphin. Hope you enjoyed this video, found it interesting, informative, or at least entertaining. And if you haven't watched the videos to the Atto 3 or the Seal, I'll make sure I'll link them on the screen right now. Go ahead and watch it. And we have another brand which we've never featured on the channel before, making its debut in the next few weeks. So if you don't want to miss out, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment, all the good stuff. We're over on Instagram as well, link below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh. 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 Gareth Southgate, I'm ready for my call up.